y'all, it's Laura and welcome back to my go-to design series where we're going through each and every one of my go-to designs that I create foundations for my pages with. If you'd like to see the very first one explaining this whole series, I will link that at the very end of the video so that you can get caught up. There will be about 15 videos in this series and they'll be up every single Saturday for the next couple of months. So let's head over to the desk and see which go-to design we're doing today. Today's go-to design I call the perimeter. Now what this normally means is that I have created a background that is simply on the edges and is not underneath of my photos. This is a very unusual style for me. I do normally create backgrounds to then put my photos on top of. And so I haven't done a ton of these layouts, but it's definitely a design that I'm really interested in and have been exploring recently. So I decided to go ahead and include it because it is becoming a new go-to design for me and one that I really enjoy. So the usual way that I start this out is by creating some sort of top and bottom pattern. And then I put my photos and some embellishments and the title in the center. Now in this first one, I've done the two triangles at the top and the bottom, and then just popped my photo in the middle going horizontally with a nice long title that fits in beautifully with that horizontal movement, and then a little bit of journaling that slightly overlaps the bottom. There's also a little embellishment up here at the top left to keep a kind of diagonal flow working through the layout. Now, another option when you're doing this particular style and have your triangles at the top and bottom is that you can go with the angle. So in this one, I've gone very straight across, but in this option, I'm actually going with the angle that I've created with my triangles. And that's a really interesting way to scrap. I do tend to keep my photos fairly straight and forward. So occasionally they're on an angle, but most of the time they're pretty straightforward. And so having the entire center section on an angle is just a really fun and interesting way to change it up for yourself. I've added a lot more embellishments on this one in 3 clusters here. And then my title sits along the bottom of this paper. So it's just kind of tucked into what would have been some trapped space just there and fills it in beautifully. Absolutely love how these come out. Now another option, of course, is to go on the sides, not on the top and bottom. That's why I'm calling this perimeter, because it could be any sides that you like. It could be all 4 sides if you like. But creating a background that isn't intended to hold your photo. In this case, my photo just barely overlaps one side, but it's mostly in the center and just filling in the space in between. And it's so much fun to find different ways to do this. In this case, I've kind of popped my photo here and used other elements to fill in the white space. I've got some ephemera pieces, some chipboard. This is a chipboard arrow. I've got an epoxy flare. I have a cut apart for my title, and then my journaling and a few more bits and pieces down here at the bottom. So the tabs, I think, are my favorite part. It's just a great way to acknowledge the layering that's happening up here and add those extra little details that I really enjoy. So this is another way to use the perimeter style. Still going with the triangles, this layout goes for a more right-angled triangle. And instead of trying to completely avoid them, I have overlapped them a little bit more. So this way I'm kind of going opposite. I have my triangles here and here, and then I'm sticking with the diagonal design. So we talked about diagonal design last week, and this is a bit of a cooperation of the two go-to designs together. One of the things I really like about this particular layout is because one of my angles is on a heavy twist here, I have created some background papers that are also on a twist. And I just think that's kind of a cool detail that I need to do more of. This layout was so much fun to do, and even I outlined these triangles as well, and that was totally freehand. So that's a bit tricky, but a lot of fun. So that's another way you can do the perimeter. My latest go at this particular design is this layout. So again, you'll see this isn't a perfect triangle situation. It doesn't have to be triangles, but the idea is to use the pattern to fill up the areas that you're not really intending your photos to sit on top of. It's decorating the background that you don't intend to use. So it's just a very clever way to add embellishment using pattern paper and then have your photos in the center as a focus. So that's the general overview of this design. This layout I adore because I actually feel like it has a more curved yin and yang style than the straight triangles. And I think that's a lot of fun. Also having the scattered bits and pieces inside as well as these little word phrases just gives it a little bit of extra something fun and interesting. We've got some arrows popped in here. We've got a simple title, 2 photos, and hardly any embellishing at all. And I think that's a really exciting and fun way to scrap when you're more of a heavy embellisher like myself. So I hope that this perimeter style gives you some ideas of how you can step out of your comfort zone and maybe decorate the background outside of your photos every once in a while. I will be having more videos coming up in the next couple of Saturdays finishing up this series. I do have a full playlist of all of the go-to designs we've done so far, so you can catch up if this is your first one or if you've missed any. We should have 15 videos in total, and I'm very excited to see what you guys think of this design. So let me know in the comments below what you think, and until next time, bye!